I have dedicated my professional career to the study and control of arthropods.
Hello. Today I want to talk about a topic that I think is pretty interesting. I'm going to call it the problem of the lack of evil. This is obviously a playing around with the term the lack of evil, the problem of the lack of evil, which you're undoubtedly familiar. There's a zillion videos out there about it, which is the idea that supports atheism because a benevolent and loving God wouldn't allow evil in the world. But this is a different topic altogether. I call it the lack of evil, and this is interesting because there are a number of people like I'm not picking on them. I'm just choosing them out of one of many. Yoke did a video on what an atheist world would be like, basically stating that if atheists ran the world, there would be complete lawlessness, anarchy, raping, pillaging, murdering. People would do anything they felt like doing. It would be a complete feel-good world and no morality. Now, I think it's an interesting idea, and it's one that's often stated, but there's a problem with it, a flaw with it that I see, is that there seems to be a whole lot of atheists out there that aren't committing crimes, aren't committing evil. In fact, the statistics in the prison statistics, and I recognize there's a flaw with that, is that something like 1.8% of people incarcerated for violent crime consider themselves to be atheists. And a significant number of them consider themselves to be Christian, with lesser numbers being Muslim, Jewish, etc. But the point is that a very, very small number of people in prison claim to be atheists. And I understand that there's a skewed statistic there because it's well known in our supposedly secular system that if you claim to be a Christian in prison, you have a better chance of getting parole, and you also tend to get more privileges. At least that's what I've heard. So obviously there may be some atheists that are claiming to be Christians, or at least not admitting that they're atheists. But the problem still remains, though, is that with a fairly good, I believe it's around 10% of the society being openly atheistic or claiming to be atheists, why they're not unduly represented in the crime statistics. You think they would be. So I think this is kind of a problem with that. I believe it's a problem. And it kind of brings apart kind of the hypocrisy that you see. There's a strong belief amongst Christians that their belief system gives them sort of a higher level of morality, and they keep saying, "Oh no, we're all sinners," and they play that humble game, the humility thing. We're all sinners, we're all equally sinful, and etc. However, the reality is you kind of know that they think they're better than you. Because otherwise, why would they bring up the point about what an atheist world would be like? Saying that it would be this ultimate sinful world. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. I'm hoping I'm going to be screwing around with a video edit here. I'm really, really bad at video editing. Obviously, I'm new at it. But I want to bring up a couple of points here that I think are really, really interesting. There's a paper put out, a study on abortion, and I think this kind of illustrates my point probably better than I can explain it. But the point is that I believe over a sample size of over 1,000 women who had abortions, they found that the woman's opinion of whether or not abortion was right or wrong had no effect on whether or not she chose to have an abortion. Now think about this really, really deeply. Really think about what this means. This says that a woman can be an evangelical Christian and completely anti-abortion, and that belief system, that moral system, will not affect if she gets pregnant out of wedlock or gets pregnant unwanted or has an unwanted pregnancy. Her decision to abort or keep or adopt the baby is statistically insignificant, and I think that's fascinating. What that means is that women who are pro-choice, who go out and get an abortion, are making a decision, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, they're making a decision based on their moral system. But a woman who is against abortion, wants it illegal, is equally likely to go get one. And I think that's fascinating. That's a hypocrite. There was a reading about an abortion doctor who was talking about a woman who brought her 16-year-old daughter in for an abortion because she had made a mistake, but she wasn't a slut, I think the mother had said. And then he said the next day both mother and daughter were protesting outside his clinic. That kind of stuff it's I believe it exists solely for my amusement. The other thing is with general crime. You find that atheists in general seem to commit far less crime, and this is not incarceration. So this might eliminate the statistic of prisoners claiming to be religious when they're not. Is that statistically more crimes are committed by people claiming to be religious, and that's all religions, than people who claim to be atheists. And I think that's really, really interesting, and sort of flies in the face of this. So I'm going to call this is the problem of lack of evil. As an atheist, you would expect that I would be highly motivated to go out and commit crimes and spread mayhem worldwide, but I'm not. I believe I'm a very, very moral person. From a Christian perspective, the sole source of my immorality is that I don't believe in God. It's kind of an interesting. It's sort of I can think of it as sort of an analogy. I remember a long time ago I think it chalks up to one of the top 10 stupidest things ever said. William Bennett, remember him, the drug czar, under George Bush Sr. When he stated that we can't legalize marijuana because if we legalize marijuana, it would be telling kids it's okay to commit a crime. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing badly. But it's that same kind of thing. I'm immoral because I don't believe in God. That's the source of my immorality. Say, why are you immoral? Because you don't believe in God. Not that I do anything necessarily immoral act in any way. It's my belief that is the source of my immorality, apparently. But then they take that and extrapolate that to mean that I will go on and do other harm on the planet, and I do my best to do no harm. I probably could go on. There's a whole bunch of stuff I'd like to talk about, but I'm gonna cut this short. And thank you. Thanks for listening for my little rant here. Bye.
Here's the greatest luxury. Raise the double standard, hypocrisy. Here's the greatest luxury. Raise the double standard, hypocrisy. Here's the greatest luxury. Raise the double standard.